So, Manuel, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's a pleasure to see you.
Pleasure's
It's
all
been
mine.
a few days since I don't see you.
I need to spend some more money in here, I think. So,
I like my friendships that way. They come in and spend money in my place. Yeah, I love that.
it's all good. I really appreciate it. But I just wanted to talk to you today about your relationship with several artists. I just kind of wanted to start with Johnny Cash. Um, you're responsible for making him the man in black. And a lot of people might not know that, but I want you to share your story.
Well, a lot of people. There has been a lot of publicity about that, but I like the idea of Barbara Walters when she asked him about me making him the man in black. He says, "Well, I wore black before as a younger man." And then I came to Manuel, and he dressed me in a better black. You know,
Sure.
he he kind of appeared to me like, and don't forget that we were friends.
Right.
We were dear friends. But there was something about making him black shirts as a young man trying out. We all have beginnings, and John, of course, was never an exception. He's that character, and then I looked at him, observed him with a lot of other friends, younger people, like Waylon, like Roger Miller, like
Sure.
Glenn Campbell, as we called him the kid because he was always younger than anybody.
Sure.
And well, Johnny, he always appeared to me in darkness. Such a positive person, really. In his younger years, he was just like all for it. I mean, I don't know, a total rockabilly kind of
Sure.
guy. And growing up, picking cotton, stuff like that, I imagine there was something in him that had to do with, that I discovered later after the story of his brother and all that, that there was something fascinating about him. It appeared to be in my way of thinking and how to dress him, since he wanted me to really work on him. It is quite a difference between making clothes for people and making a personality when you
Sure.
make clothes. And he had that saint look,
Right.
but also he had that vampire look. He
Right.
had that Prince of Darkness look.
Interesting. Okay.
And he was such a great friend and was so serious on everything that I don't know how he got into all these other things that sometimes we all get into. But he was a priesty kind of guy, the preacher.
Right.
And that's what I can say about our friendship, and what I can say about, you know, a day or two older than him, or he being a day or two older than me. So we were like same people.
Sure.
I'm talking about 1956, 1957, which is when
Right.
I worked, the line came around, and all that stuff. And it was just amazing how things changed all of a sudden for him.
Right.
We're talking now about fortunes, money, and popularity. And everybody knew that they were in love with him because everybody just researched all over the world. I mean, today, you know, 80 some years after my birth, or for the first time in my life, I hear that everybody, even children, 10 years old, 8 years old, know about Johnny Cash.
It's amazing. Really.
Isn't it? Honestly, because I ask about, the Beatles or whatever. 20-year-olds, some of them don't know about it, but they know about Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
And it's amazing
Really is.
And so everything, when it got whipped together, sort of a spider-like kind of. Everything gets all the pieces,
All together. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Johnny was an exceptional man, apart from being rather quiet. Like I said, all of that got into me. And when he said, "Brother, I think we're going to need about 9 suits now because we have like 52 shows to go." I said, "No kidding. Well, it's your time, and God bless you, man." So, says, "You know what to do, right?" I said, "Kind of. I am kind of learning what to do. Don't worry." So I had made clothes, shirts like for a year or something like that. Always calculating that expense thing, money situation,
Sure.
stuff like that.
Manage the money on the
Yeah,
rise to fame.
yes. And I understood, and I went ahead and made 9 outfits for him. And it's like 2, 3 days later, here's this voice that is totally conceivable, When he's talking, everybody listens.
Right.
He was like that. He had that magic then. And he says, "Brother, I got the suits." I said, "This is Johnny Cash." I said, "Oh, no kidding." Okay. He said, "How come they're all black?" So I said, "Johnny, to tell you the truth, these jobbers, the meat salesmen over there, they had a special on black. So I bought all these fabric. I said, hey, what a chance to really make my career myself too.
Right.
So here you are. You had 9 suits. I said, but they don't look alike, do they? He said, no, you're right. They don't. I think that's the kind of thing.
Interesting.
We had a conversation and we went quiet through the phone lines because he was busy flying and doing things in other places. 2 weeks later, he called and says, brother, I think I need at least 2 a week, if you can possibly.
Wow.
I said, oh my God, I wonder how are we going to do with all these colors? The color is not in question anymore.
Right. Wow.
So that's the way it went, man.
That's interesting. Well, it's probably safe to say he was kind of the polar opposite of most artists that
Yes.
would maybe come in and look for a flamboyant color or something loud, splashy.
Yes. He was never that person. He was a person that just loved what I did for him. And we kind of really established a brotherhood. But it already existed, like I said, between him, Chris Christopherson, all these guys that, you see the characters in them. I remember when I used to make straight black suits for Willie Nelson. Well, I love him to death.
Right.
Come on, his scarf, his
Yeah.
bandanas, whatever.
Such a
his
departure.
hats. Yes,
Yeah.
but they were all trying different looks until they found themselves, and then that's when they grow. They do their thing.
Right.
And I think I've been seeing that in a lot of artists through the years.
Would you say Johnny was kind of polar opposites to Elvis?
Yes,
As far as
although they were kind of friends and stuff like that, but
right.
Elvis was a kid.
Sure.
Those are the times of Ricky Nelson and
Right.
Bobby Sherman,
Right.
David Cassidy,
Right.
but another type of thing. And he was a rocker,
Yeah.
really. But indeed, he was a rockabilly too. And he was loved and not loved by the Grand Ole Opry, by many other places. But they all found their place. They have to fit like Lego, or you're out.
Right. Sure. And every artist you mentioned, to back up, David Cassidy, Bobby Sherman, you've worked with all those artists.
Yes.
Ricky Nelson.
Yeah, all those kids. Yeah, I love them.
It's funny. You say kids, but I guess they really were kids.
But I was always old.
No, you
No, really. No, honestly.
maybe an old soul, but you were never always old.
It's like Bob Dylan. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He's a kid to me.
Yeah.
That's the way. Prince, too. Jackson 5, all of them,
Which you've worked
the
with all
Bee
these.
Gees, of course.
Was there any particular one artist, whether it be Elvis or Michael Jackson with the Jackson Five, Johnny Cash, that you knew there was a great, huge, colossal career ahead of them, or was it kind of like,
You know, I was doubtful with believing Colonel Parker.
really?
So I have a kid that is worth $1 million. I want to bring him to you. You're the guy that makes all the coats over there. And I said, yes, sir, yes, yes. Well, we'll be there Monday. And sure enough, this Cadillac was out there when we were opening the door.
This is Hollywood.
And here comes Elvis, no different looking than Johnny Mathis, that all those guys that Johnny had the same kind of hair kind of thing going. Well, everybody looked the same,
Right.
really.
Yeah.
Back in the late 50s, man, they were like that. I mean, they all look kind of the same.
Right.
Because that's eras for everybody, right?
This would have been 56, 57 regarding Elvis.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, I saw the kid and yeah, everybody has $1 million kid. Every manager has a $1 million talent because million used to be a really magical word.
Sure.
Especially when it came to money. Now, millions is kind of little money.
Right. Today. But
Yeah.
absolutely. Especially in this town, right?
Yeah.
It's pocket
Anyway,
change.
so but it's funny how I saw those people growing up. I mean, some of them were older than me, and a year or two, but most of them were like my own age kind of guys, and they were making it. I mean, talking about Mr. Little Jimmy Dickens,
Right.
talking about, no, really Porter Wagoner.
Sure. Which,
Yeah.
great photo of him up there. Wow.
It was fun to see all these guys, you know, even the Beatles, even the Rolling Stones, all those people. You know, I had a chance to, with them. I was fortunate enough that they came to me and because I never advertised, I never do anything like that. I just
Word of mouth.
kind
The
of,
industry.
and one of a kind. I am so obfuscated about that, and I'm like stubborn. Two things I like, there's no way. Jackson 5, you know, the Beach Boys, they're all white. I said, wait a moment. Let me make the effort. You guys do the singing and you playing. I don't make two of anything. But I'm going to dress you guys like the Bee Gees, you know, brothers. And then looking the same, the Jackson 5, the same. Come on, I mean.
But that's, I mean, that's a gift, a tremendous gift, to be able to see a person and mold a fashion around their personality, which is what you did with all the artists.
You know, they definitely, some of them were great friends, some of them were great brothers. But I have to separate them from that kind of thing. I had to make a personality.
Mm-hmm.
Because although I grew in my younger years in the music, there were duets and trios. And then there were bands, but they never worked like forever. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
It was always that individual popping out. So it happened with Michael, it happened with other people, you know, the way like, great guys that play good music and they were genius in their own right, like Prince was in reality. You know, those were the times. Wayne Cochran, the CC Riders, man,
right.
Come on, all
Yeah.
those people, it was so much fun.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yes, and one after the other, you know. Waylon, watch out, Waylon. Yeah. He had his own character, his own thing.
Yeah.
Until he really found himself.
Right.
And then up they go.
And that became their brand.
Yes.
And your fashion was part of that brand.
Oh my God, was it ever? You know, all these kids, I probably talking with each other behind scenes. Or, I don't know.
Yeah.
They all come and says, you know, I want a suit like. I said, well, there's no such an animal.
Right, right.
I said, I'll make you a suit, but I'm going to make sure that you have your own suit.
Own identification.
Yes, your own personality.
Right.
I said, I'm not trying not to sell you, trying to,
Sure.
Another thing that I have never liked when they come in with their girlfriend or their boyfriend,
And they want to dictate.
or God bless mamas. Oh,
So I was wanting to ask you in detail a little bit, reference to the gold lame that you worked on for Elvis.
Mhm.
Um, that is such an iconic suit, not just in the Elvis world, but beyond in rock and roll. I mean, can you tell me a little bit about?
Sure, because this is what happened that precise day. This man was such a braggart, and we're not talking about Elvis, we're talking about Colonel Parker
Okay.
and his $1 million kid. So you really wanted to look. And he was kind of a little demanding because the way I met Elvis is the colonel gives him the keys. He says, go to my Cadillac, bring your guitar. You're going to play a song for this young man. He's going to be making you clothes. I said, okay. I kept grabbing that stuff. And my father-in-law, Nudie, didn't have, he was a nice business, a super businessman. But I was cold-blooded when it comes to pricing. I learned it from a distance from Coco Chanel. And then the other thing, making the proper things at the proper time, I really learned it also from a city head who was the grandest designer in the world forever. And, I was fortunate enough to be with these people. So I knew the changes were super. When he came to try the famous gold lame suit, Colonel Park says, do a little thing. And I saw him, oh, wow. I said, this guy's going to hit the roof any day. I have that feeling sometimes about artists. I didn't know if it was his voice or whatever, but I knew the way he moved and the way he was. And at that time, Johnny Cash, him, and another brother, they were doing crazy stuff.
Right.
They all made haters out of a lot of people, too, because they were kind of breaking away
Right.
from country music,
Jerry Lewis
traditional.
would probably be a good example. Sure.
But it was fun. I'll tell you, I'm glad that you say that it's such an iconic, because it's an iconic piece.
It really is.
Well, I think the most iconic suit in the world, I did it in the 70s.